Okay, hey guys, welcome to the Clery podcast.
Hello.
Here we are.
Here we are again.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Episode 10, is it?
I think it's 11.
Oh, is it? Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know. Well, I'm going to title it whatever it is. I think it's 11.
Yeah. Wow.
It might be 10.
Time flies when you're having
Fun. But
this is so fun.
I was just going to tell.
I was just going to ever had
I was
in my
about
entire life.
I was just
love
about
to do.
I was about to tell them where
Okay,
Oliver was.
Sorry, were you going to talk? Sorry. Okay.
I was going to talk
Wait,
to the.
what if the entire podcast was us trying to get out one sentence, but we couldn't, but for an entire hour?
I love.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I think
Wouldn't that be the
people
best?
would be.
Wouldn't that be so fun? Sorry, you go. Sorry, you go first.
No, you go.
Oh, you go first.
No,
oh,
you
I'll
go.
go first.
You
go first. I'll go first. No, you go first. I'll go first. Should I go first?
No,
I
I go
just
first.
said I'm going first. Okay, then you go first.
No,
All right,
you
you
go
go first.
No, you should go first.
No, you go first.
No, you go
No
first.
one's going to listen to this podcast.
Everyone's going to love this. Because
okay,
it's
so
not
you're
confusing.
going first.
You
should go first. Literally
first.
stop. Okay,
You go
I'll go first. So, hey, so
You
yeah.
go first.
Oh, I thought, so if I'm
Right,
going
right.
first, then why
I'll
are
go
you still
second.
talking? Then
I'll go
stop
when you've
talking.
gone. After
Then
you've
stop
gone, I'll go.
talking so
You
I
go
can
and
go
I go.
first. If
After
I'm
you've
going
gone,
first,
you go.
then you
We're
shouldn't
going
be
to tell
talking.
I just
You
wanted to
stop
tell them
talking.
a thing.
Okay, you go.
No, you go. And then it's
All right,
just
I'm going to go
silence.
first.
Silence
Yeah.
for half an hour.
Yeah.
I was trying to
I was gonna
explain
go
to the
first.
ladies and gentlemen where
What?
Oliver was. Because we always talk about
He's
Oliver.
in the next room.
He's not with us today because so yesterday, someone came over to measure some things in the house, and I look over, and Oliver is literally standing in blood. There's blood everywhere. I almost died of shock. Literally blood. It was like a horror film.
He either bit his foot or he stepped on something.
It was terrible. So much
But
blood.
you know how when you have a paper cut and there's just like an excessive amount of blood, but it's a paper cut? Like he had a little cut on his foot. And of course he's putting pressure on his foot because he's standing. So the blood, so it's overwhelming. And you just see this bleeding dog. Oh, and then he itched his face. So his face was covered in blood.
First of all, I thought that he'd cut his face off.
Right.
What the hell is this book and why is it here?
Okay, so that's actually a really funny story. I've never read it. Let me show them. So guys, we're holding a book right now called Mating in Captivity, Unlocking Erotic Intelligence. Can we desire what we already have?
Oh, jeez.
Does good intimacy always make for hot sex?
It doesn't say that.
Yes. Mating in captivity takes a hard line against one of the most time-honored institutions in human history, the sexless marriage. It reads like a cross between the works of Jacques Lacan, French women.
Lacan.
Okay, you know what? Okay, fucking whatever. So anyway, get this. This is why we have this book. I'll tell you exactly why. When we were living in Santa Monica, we had like a really big argument one day. I mean, it was really big, and there was screaming and I was screaming, and it was just an intense argument with a lot of screaming. So
I don't remember that.
okay, well, it happened, and we get a knock on the door. I get a knock on the door the next day, and it's my fucking neighbor, my next door neighbor. It was her husband, and they had two little kids, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And she just looks at me and she goes, hey, I thought you might be interested in this book. You can borrow it if you want. And I was like, oh, thanks. No explanation. Just the day after this horrific screaming fight, she just passes on this book and was like, yeah, it's done wonders for my husband and I. So here you go. And I was like, oh, thanks. Mating in Captivity, Unlocking Erotic Intelligence. One of the world's most respected voices on erotic intelligence, Esther Perel, offers a bold, provocative new take on intimacy and sex. So I don't know how that fight led her to give us this book.
I don't.
And I have yet to read this book.
Look at the lady on the back.
Nor did I give it back. I never gave it back to her.
It's because they left very quickly.
So that's why we have this book, Mating in Captivity, and I use it as a coaster for my coffee now. But I thought that was really, don't you think that's crazy? Like kind of like the audacity for her to overhear us fighting and then give us the book, but then / how considerate. Like, wow, you know what? This book could have helped her and her husband.
Yeah, well, they were having a fight.
Probably. Okay,
they were nice.
That's what I'm saying. So like most people would just pretend they didn't hear it and like move on.
Yeah.
Or they'd call the police if it continued to happen.
Yeah.
But she was sort of, but then she's also like giving advice where she's giving unsolicited advice, which my sponsor like yells at me for in AA. Like if I ever give unsolicited advice, she like basically is like, no one asked for your opinion. So so like, it's always like, hey, do you mind if I give you my opinion? And if they're like, no, I'm good, then you're good. She kind of gave unsolicited advice, like, here, read this book. But I think she was well-intentioned. So like, I think it was nice, but we still have it. We should read it, Stephen.
I don't want to read it. It looks weird. And look at the lady on the back.
Ew, there's cum on page 116.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Page 116 and 117 are sticking together.
I read those 2 pages, but that's it.
I think it's from our neighbors.
Oh, but why does the woman on the back look like an actual lady of the night?
What is a lady of the night?
It's a polite term for a prostitute.
She doesn't look like a prostitute.
She does. Well, let me see.
She does not. What kind of prostitutes have you been to?
That's true. Okay, she doesn't. From a distance, she looked like...
So you guys, get this though. There's more. So we lived in this apartment complex. Like I said, next door was this married couple and their 2 kids. They were really, really sweet. Downstairs, okay,
another neighbor, crazy neighbor.
Yeah, so we were upstairs, and downstairs were these 2. Married, either they were married or together. I'm not sure if they were married, but boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. And they were like probably mid-40s, hoarders, like hardcore hoarders. Yeah, and they had these 2 big dogs,
pit bull terriers,
and they would have them outside in the front little porch area.
They didn't have any garden, so the dogs never got any exercise.
Yeah, and they would basically keep them outside, and when we'd walk by, the dogs would like threaten to murder us every single time we walked by.
It was scary for us.
Yeah. So anyway, so they had these 2 crazy dogs who would like try and attack you, but they couldn't get through the gate, but they tried every time you'd walk by during the days. And their house was just like filled with junk inside and outside. Anyway, so another time the neighbor, and the cops would often come to the house because the boyfriend would have these manic episodes and he would freak out. And they were like very heavily medicated, and they were both on disability. That's and they like were just, they would have actually crazy fights.
Yes.
Maybe the energy in there like led us to have crazy fights.
Because we haven't had them since.
No. And we certainly did in that house, in that apartment. Anyway, the cops would be called all the time because would he do? He would just like freak the fuck out. And then she would call the cops. Do you remember that?
The cops were at the apartment building a lot for them, but I don't remember.
Didn't he have some crazy like bicycle or something?
The best thing about him was he had a bike that he'd attached his own motor to, so he could go on a bike without going on a bike, without getting any exercise, and he would lift his little feet up, and they would just go. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. They drove a brand new Mercedes, though. How does that work?
So, okay, yeah. So basically the place was on rent control and they had been there for like 20 years. So the woman's like, yeah, we're only paying $400 a month in rent, but don't say anything because I don't want to get a job. She's like, it's really great. She's like, $400 a month and we live here and they can't do anything because the rent control.
Oh my God.
But we're on disability and John's on disability. And, sometimes he can go a little crazy. And I got to call the cops because he goes a little crazy. But we're fine. And I love my dogs. They were just very...
Oh, yeah.
They were definitely on, like, a bunch of, like, meds, it felt. And I don't know exactly what exactly was wrong with them. She told me he was, like, bipolar.
Right.
And so he had, like, severe psychological issues. But I always had this theory that... because she seemed very intelligent and capable, and I always had this theory that the rent control was actually like a negative thing in their life, because although it was so cheap for them to live there, they didn't have to work because they would get these disability checks every month and their rent was so low, so therefore the purpose wasn't there. They weren't doing anything. They were just living in these piles of filth and just like getting in these horrendous fights.
So weird.
And almost like if they had to work and get out of the house and be around other people and feel like they had more of a purpose, maybe they would have been happier and maybe a little mentally healthier. I don't know, but I don't fucking know, man. Or maybe they just cannot both work and they shouldn't be. I don't know. Like, who am I to say?
I don't know.
But remember I said that? I was like, maybe the rent control is actually like a bad thing for them because they don't have to change.
Yeah.
And clearly the way they were living, they were not happy.
No, God.
So anyway, our next door neighbors, though, the ones that lived upstairs, the nice married couple who gave us the book about mating in captivity, they knocked on the door another day and she was crying and she's like, can we talk for a minute? And I said, what's going on? She goes, I called animal services about the dogs downstairs because I had asked the downstairs neighbors time and time again to bring their dogs in because they truly scare my little kids, my 2-year-old, my 4-year-old. They lunge at them every time we walk by.
I mean, in fairness, they'd lunge at us, but for a tiny kid, that must be terrifying.
She was like, they terrified them every day. And so I called animal services, and to get back at me, she called child protective services and told them that I was abusing my children.
Right.
And now child protective services is coming. Is it child protected services? You know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
Child services.
Yeah.
I'll just call it that. You guys
they
know what I'm talking about.
They would come in, weren't they, to
she
see.
said she said to get back at me, she called Child Protect. Now I have to Google it. Child Protective Services and said that I was abusing the kids. She goes, and the worst part about it is, I'll call him Johnny. The 4-year-old Johnny fell yesterday and he has a black eye.
Oh my God.
So Child Protective Services is coming over today and Johnny has a black eye and I'm terrified to lose my kids.
Oh my God.
She was a wreck. And to do that is fucked up. And then the downstairs neighbor admitted it to me too.
Did she?
Yeah. She was like, they're the devil. They tried to take little Skippy and little Jumper away from me. I will destroy them.
Skippy and Jumper?
Yeah, or whatever their names were.
I like those.
And literally, let me just see this. Child Protective,
I think.
Child Protective Services.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. So how fucking ruthless is that?
Yeah, that was mad.
She was like, they're my kids. She doesn't understand. But you're like neglecting your kids, your dogs, and leaving them out the entire day in the heat.
Were crazy dogs.
Yeah. So, and then Child Protective Services never came to our apartment. But she called and was like, if they come over, will you tell them that we're good parents? Will you tell them that the downstairs neighbors are crazy and that we're good parents and we're not abusing our children? But she straight up lied.
Yeah.
To try and get their children taken away.
That's crazy.
Because they called to say, your dogs are lunging at my children. And to get back at them. Isn't that crazy?
It's insane.
So then the next door neighbors ended up moving.
Yeah.
Like shortly
Couple
thereafter.
of weeks after, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think they were like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like that, fuck that.
Jeez.
I can't imagine.
That's bad. I don't know. So, should we tell them about the prosthetics?
Oh.
Because they've probably seen it on Insta Story. We should explain what happened.
Oh my God. But one more thing about that place. Do you remember when I came home and there was a homeless guy in my garage pissing?
Yes. Yes, I do.
We had like this little 1920s garage door opener and he just pulled it up. It was a manual garage door. And so I pulled up the garage door and there is a homeless man pissing in my garage.
Our garage.
But it only fit one tiny car.
That's right.
Which was my Mini Cooper.
That's right.
So it was my garage. Because your car didn't even fit.
It didn't.
You were on the street.
I had to park on the street and I couldn't ever find parking.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Can't park there. You get a ticket.
Do you remember when I had my old 80s Mercedes when we first met and I was listening to hip hop as I like to do because I love hip hop, and then you thought, because first of all you didn't appreciate the classicness of the car, you thought it was just an old car. Anyone who likes cars, Mercedes 560 SEC from 1982, nice car, classic. She thinks it's just an old man's car. She also thinks that I can't work a radio because I come from England and that it's stuck on the hip hop station.
Okay. So admittedly, when you look at Steven, you don't think, he's listening to Jay-Z.
I love hip hop. It's my favorite.
He's listening to Biggie. He's listening to Lil Wayne.
Racist.
He's listening to Migos. He's listening.
And I like all those, especially Lil Wayne and Migos.
But so
Migos.
So he's listening to Eminem.
Eminem?
Maybe Eminem.
Oh no, I don't really like him. I suppose he was all right.
He's listening to Post Malone. You were singing that congratulations song for 3 months and it was horrific listening to
say
you.
Congratulations to my dog because he's a lovely dog.
That's not even how the song goes.
No, it's time to say commiseration.
Not how the song goes. Okay.
To my dog,
so anyway, he picks me
bit
up.
His own paw and it bled.
He picks me up for the first time, and 105.9 for all of you LA people, you know that's
station.
the hip hop station, and he has it on, and I just was like I was like expecting him to listen to like, I was expecting like David Bowie or like the Clash,
who I also love,
the Clash,
who I love as well,
or Talking Heads.
I love Talking Heads.
Perhaps so cliche, but the Beatles, the
Not
Rolling
so
Stones,
so
Lily Allen,
Not so keen on Lily Allen.
Oasis.
No, I don't like Oasis.
I was just expecting the Smiths.
Ugh.
I was expecting some real English shit. Yeah. Some girls are bigger than others. Some girls are bigger than others. Some girls' mothers are bigger than other girls' mothers. But so yeah, I always like love those lyrics for some reason though.
Morrissey, the Smiths, massive in England, on the two coasts, LA and New York, and Mexico.
Yeah, man.
Inexplicably.
Yeah.
Mexicans love the Smiths.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's well, I guess so. I don't
from
know.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a more different place than to Mexico than Manchester.
So he picks me up and he's got hip hop on, and I just automatically think, okay, this car is so old that it's incapable of changing radio stations.
Classic.
So it's like so old that it's just stuck on this. Or I thought that Steven didn't know how to work an American radio because he was from another country and couldn't figure it out. So it was just stuck on that channel. And I was like, oh, that sucks for him. He probably doesn't even like it.
Double insult then.
Yeah.
First of all, you thought my car was so old I couldn't change the radio station.
And I was scared that it would like break in the middle of the street too.
It did break down a lot. I'll give it that. I will say that.
Okay, so fucking listen to this shit. So he goes to buy it, and the guy, he's taking a test drive. It breaks down on the test drive.
It actually broke down. I turned it on. I drove less than a minute, and it broke down. I thought, okay, I'll ignore that. That's probably going to be fine. So then
the guy goes, oh, yeah, that won't happen again. And Steven goes, do you promise?
They said, don't worry, I'll get that fixed. And I said, do you promise?
And he said, yeah.
He said, yeah.
I promise.
You know he didn't get it fixed?
You know it broke down all the time? Do you promise?
Yeah.
Do you promise to a used car dealership? Do you promise?
It was a man. It was an old man.
Did he pinky swear too?
He didn't even do that.
He didn't even pinky swear?
I didn't even know what pinky swear was at that point.
You always got to get the pinky swear, Steven.
We don't do that in England. Some girls are bigger than others.
Some girls' mothers are bigger than other girls' mothers. So yeah, that was the first experience there.
I wonder whether...
Oh, even worse than me thinking you don't know how to work a radio is when I thought Steven would pee in the bathroom, like on the floor. So this was, Steven had a dog named Sid, and who has since passed. He was older. And when we first met, we were in another apartment. God, we've lived so many places. It's crazy.
This is place number 5.
Yeah. But when we met, I moved into his 1-bedroom apartment in Santa Monica. The other apartment was the 2-bedroom, but whatever. Anyway.
Steven.
That I guess is irrelevant. Yeah. So, I would go pee and there would be like little pee drops by the toilet. And I would think like on the floor. And I would think, God, Steven, like, doesn't have good aim.
Oh, no. Like, I'm embarrassed.
But I just didn't say anything because we were newly dating.
I'm embarrassed thinking about it now, even.
And it happened like 3 or 4 times. And then I can't remember one day Steven goes, Sid! No, Sid, you can't pee next to the toilet. No. And I was like, wait, that's your dog? And he was like, yeah, Sid. See, we would go on tour when I was in bands and bring Sid. So we taught him to pee by the toilet while we were out doing a gig. Yeah. And so he will still do it now from time to time.
It was a good idea.
And I was like, oh, so that was your dog. That's your dog who pees next to the toilet. And he's like, what did you think?
So it was me.
Yeah, I was like, I thought you had bad aim, and you were mortified.
I'm even upset. Embarrassed
You were mortified. I thought you just had bad aim and were like, and just didn't notice that there was a little pee on the floor. What's worse is that my standards were that low that I stayed with you.
Yeah.
That I was like, meh. What's a little piss on the floor? So yeah, 18th Street. Yeah, you'd pee on the floor.
I didn't pee on the floor ever. It was Sid.
And we had these landlords who were Russian.
Oh my God.
And they were mother and daughter. And they bought the little apartment complex like in the 70s or 80s when it was really cheap in Santa Monica.
They bought a 7 apartment complex in the 70s for probably about 100,000
or less,
or maybe less probably.
Yeah, and now it's worth probably millions.
Millions.
Yeah, and they were like, Steven, Stefan, when I first moved in, they didn't like me. And they actually told Stephen that they didn't like me.
Yeah, I can't remember
because
exactly.
I smoked outside.
You smoked outside. Why? Yeah, they didn't like that.
I was a smoker at one point. I had like 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, but I did smoke.
I can't remember what she said, but she said something, and then I went all. Who's that guy from those films? Those English. I went all Mr. Darcy, and I went, "Oh, you are talking about the woman I love." Yeah. Just came out. Don't know where it came from.
Because don't you ever talk like that about the woman I love?
Yes, that's right. Don't you talk like that about the woman I love? And I don't know where it came from. I literally talked like I was from 1850 to her. And she never said another thing, though. She was shocked. She was really shocked because I'd never fallen out with her before.
That's really sweet.
Thank you.
Said that.
I did.
Yeah, and she was nice to me after that.
Yes.
She would just pop up in my window. Stefan, rent is due tomorrow. Do not forget.
Yes.
Stefan.
She would just pop into the window, like we'd be sitting there, and then her face would.
We'd be in the bedroom. Stefan.
Yeah, in the window.
Stefan, you must clean these windows. They're filthy.
Yes.
And the daughter talked like this. She had this voice like this, and the daughter landlord would, she would be saying, if you guys want to come over for coffee or tea, just please pop in. There's no problem. We also have bathtub full of fruit if you ever need.
Then they did.
Yes, yeah. And then she's like, yes, we keep food in the bathtub, and if your parents who are in London get attacked, you can send them here and they can hide in bathtub with fruit. She was like crazy.
Yeah.
She offered your parents to stay, like if London ever went under attack.
She always thought my mum and dad were going to get blown up in a bomb attack for some reason.
Stephen, your parents, they're safe here.
Yes.
You can bring them here.
Yeah.
We have fruit in bathtub.
And that was 6 years ago, and that place is still there, and it still looks exactly the same.
Yeah. One time I prank called Stephen pretending to be Elena, who's the daughter landlord, and I was like,
"Oh, Stephen, this is Elena calling. I just, I noticed that Laura was not home today, so if you want to come by, I would love to have a cuddle with you. Don't tell Laura."
You did do that, and that's I think I might have fallen for it for the first half as well.
For the first half.
"I want you to stick your dick in my hole. Oh, dick hole.
She was definitely a virgin.
Fill my dick hole."
I don't think that lady had ever had sex.
I know. It was a very funny relationship.
Very
what else
funny.
did they do?
I was behind them once in the bank, and they were both in the bank waiting to put some money in, and they were honestly, they were looking furtively like that around. It was like they were in a spy film. And then they went up to the counter and they put big piles of $1 bills on the cashier's table. It was like it's crazy. They did lots of weird things like that. Yes.
She was a pianist.
She wasn't.
Remember? The mom. She played.
Did she? No, I don't remember that.
She was a pianist.
Is that
That's
right?
why she let you move in. Or she at least was really good at piano.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she loved that you were a musician.
She did. Because when I first came to Santa Monica, I thought that you didn't... In London, if you want to rent a place, you literally go... You don't go and see it with loads of other people. You go and see it with the agent. And if you want it, you say, "I'll take it." And then it's yours.
Yeah.
I'd never seen an open house before. So I thought... I knew I had to move into America the next week permanently. And I thought, I'll go the week before and I'll just book an appointment to see a flat. And I'll go and I'll find one and I'll like it. And I went to Venice. The first one I found on the Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
It looks nice. Went to Venice, nice apartment, 60 people there. And I was like, what's going on? Why is there so many people here? And the agent's like, it's an open house.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's an open house? She's like, well, everyone comes at the same time. And I'm like, I can't deal with this. I want the flat. I'll take it. And she goes, you can't just take it. And I was like,
no, I'll take it.
That's what I said to her. She's like, you can't take it. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, you got to have a credit check. Ooh. And now when you move from England to America, your credit is reset at 0. No matter what your credit
Right.
is, you have to build it up again from scratch.
Yeah.
So when you first move here from another country, you don't have any credit. So it's really hard to get an apartment. And I had no idea. And I had like 3 days to find a place. So there was 5 o'clock on the day, my last week, free day to find a place. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. One last look on Restside Rentals, and there was this crazy place. And I thought, okay, this last one I'll go and see. And I went to see them, and they were open. There was only me there. These 2 crazy ladies.
Yeah.
And I just said to them, look, I've been everywhere trying to find a flat. I can't find a flat. Don't have any credit. And they were like, what do you do? And I said, I'm a musician. And then and their faces kind of lit up. And I didn't realize until you just said she played the piano.
Yeah.
But then, I said, so I can't find a place. This would be perfect, but you probably need a credit check. And she said, no, if you, I think I just had to give them a check for the deposit there and then. And it was actually very lucky. 'Cause
Yeah. They liked you. They liked that you were European.
Yes.
I bet.
I think so. I thought I just got on well with her, even though she was crazy, both of them.
Of course.
And they let me have it, and it was. I didn't like it when I first moved there because there was no windows. There was windows, but they were small, and I thought there's no natural light. But it was a nice apartment inside.
Yeah.
It's big, fairly big. But yeah,
Crazy.
Santa Monica days.
Yeah.
So yes.
So yeah, okay, so we did the prosthetic. So I don't know if you guys saw on my Insta story, I was filming about it, but we went and we got a prosthetic Helen done. So we basically brought her face to life. We found the dude who did like Face Off. What else did he do?
He did The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. He did the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters, who whenever I say that to anyone, they go, oh my God, except Laura, who doesn't seem that impressed.
I don't even know who that is. That's
I always think, he's hard to impress.
And his dad did like the Munchkins and the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz
Munchkins.
Munchkins.
They've been doing prosthetic makeup for decades, but
not a great story though. After this moment,
well, so we tried it. We did a test shoot, and we really weren't happy with the way that it looked.
It was great in the room. I can't understand what happened.
The face is too long. I'm not giving up, but I miss it was almost too real, you guys, because basically the cool thing is like I could take Helen out on the street and she could talk to strangers and I could move around and I could dance and I don't have to worry about the filter popping out. But I don't know, like I love that smooth kind of cartoonish looking face that Helen has and the family, and the prosthetic makes it real, but then it also can peel off. So the makeup artist would need to be there on set the whole time, which we didn't have.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing quest to make a real Helen.
I'm not fully giving up on it, but guys, I would love to know and hear from you guys about what you think, because we're evolving Helen in whatever way, okay? She is a really popular character, and I see it going for a while, her and her family and Steven and everything. So how do we evolve this character, okay, guys? So right now it's Snapchat filter. Would you prefer to see Helen as an animation? Okay, think Family Girl, not Family Guy, Family Girl. You got this female family, really funny out there, animated show. Would you like to see Helen evolve into animation or more prosthetic, like think Nutty Professor or Austin Powers or those type of films where you're using prosthetic and makeup to create this square-faced family in this world of normal people? Both are funny to me. Both are really funny ways to go about it. What do you guys think? What would you want to see? The other option is a hybrid animation where we film my face and do a facial recognition filter to square it off and have an animated world and body. So I met with the animator and the head of animation company called Titmouse. They do the Nick Kroll show on Netflix. They do what else have they did Daria, or he worked on Daria, bunch of animations he's done, and he suggested doing a hybrid animation where you do the filtered, say I have Britney Spears guest star in an episode, we film Britney Spears' face and we plop her on an animated body. So the world is animated, the face is filtered.
I mean, that definitely sounds good, but what people don't realize is that is for a tiny 2-minute sizzle reel, it's $200,000, which we would have to get from somewhere, and also it takes a year to make an animated series from the writing stage, so that would be a year in development.
But we're gonna continue doing the Snapchat series. We're gonna continue filming until, presumably, and until Snapchat goes under, which I don't think they are. I think they've kind of reinvented themselves.
They have.
And we also have the prosthetic as an option too. But I'm just curious, don't think about time frame. Don't think about any of that. I just want to know what you guys would rather see. Would you rather see Helen in animation form or in prosthetic form? That's what I want to know from you guys. Don't think about anything else. I want to know ideally what the fans want to see. That's all.
Yeah. It's confusing. We'll be keeping you up to date with this because it's been a very confusing process. Well, we know the Snapchat filter works and people love Helen in that form, but I don't think it can last forever like that.
No, we know that. And that's why we're brainstorming different ways. We tried the prosthetic. This specific prosthetic
didn't work.
No, I wasn't super happy with how it looked.
I think
I shot a whole sketch with it, and I
had to reshoot the whole thing. But I think also you didn't like having it on, which is a big thing.
No, it was really uncomfortable and itchy. But at the end of the day, whatever. if it looked amazing and it was hilarious, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, we'll get there. I just don't know how.
But let's this is a fun process. This is
it's confusing, but it's fun.
This is not life or death. This is just we're trying to brainstorm the evolution of this character that some dude in London got a tattoo of on his arm that has millions of fans, that is like a special character and has a special family, and we're trying to evolve her in the best way.
Yeah,
so it's a challenge.
She's a gem, Helen. She's such a great little character.
But
and her family now.
It's
great.
It's funny, when we stress about these little things, though, because I have to constantly remind myself, things are, life is ever changing. And I just read this article that broke my heart. This 27-year-old died of bone cancer, and she wrote, right before she died, she wrote a public letter to the public and posted it right before she passed. And we both read it, right? You read it as well. Yeah. But it was really amazing and profound. And maybe, Christina, you could put a link to the letter in the podcast. If you could put a link to it, that'd be awesome. Because I just recommend that everyone reads it. But basically, it was just her advice on life, and some of the key points she talked about were: do not stress about the little things. Don't whinge. She kept saying whinge. Do not whinge. Don't complain, especially about these trivial issues like a haircut or being in traffic or not having the right color walls, or this bullshit that we can just let consume us, and I'm just as guilty as the next person. We moved into this house and it's oh my God, it has to be perfect. But does it?
No.
And she said, don't waste your money on material things. Spend it on experiences.
That was good advice.
Call your friends and your family and see them as much as you possibly can, and tell them you love them as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, it was great advice.
She goes, because at the end of this, you're not going to be saying, she goes, it's so weird. She goes, it's weird to have money and be dying, because it's just a weird thing to know that I'm going to be gone in a couple of months.
Wow.
But what she cherished was spending birthdays, Christmases every day with her friends and family. Cuddle your pets. Cuddle your pets. Love your pets. Cuddle your pets. Tell your friends you love them. If you have money, don't buy yourself something. Buy your friend something.
Oh, mate.
Buy your friend something. Buy your loved one something. Buy your parents something. Give, give, give.
Yeah.
Give, because it feels good. It feels good to give.
Yeah.
You know, and we know this. You know, it's like I have to every morning try and remember to say, okay, God, what can I give today? Not what can I get? Because when I'm thinking about what can I get, I'm in fear, I'm in anxiety, I can get depressed, I can compare and despair. But when I'm thinking about what can I give, how can I make Steven's day better, or my parents, or my friends, or my fans, or followers, or Oliver, when I'm trying to give and improve someone else's life or day, I'm filled up and I feel good and I feel energized. What do you think, Stephen?
No, I agree with all that, and I thought it was a very powerful article. Did you post it on your Facebook?
On my personal Facebook, I should post it on my business page.
Yeah, because then people can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you go to Laura's Facebook and you can see the article. And Oliver is very pleased that this podcast has finally come into his segment, How to Get Bones to Go in Your Mouth by Oliver Hilton.
Yeah.
How do you do it, Ollie, mate? Oh, he's shivering. He's cold. Oh, he went for a swim. He can swim.
Yes, our dog can swim.
In a circle.
In a circle. He just swims in a circle.
Crooked.
But yeah, so all of this is just look at it as a fun game, just figuring out what the next steps are. Oh, I wanted to do just like a couple Q&As, or just a couple, I got a bunch of questions online. So, okay. Creative Nuggets says, what inspired you to do hilarious skits? So, long story long, I just really feel that my purpose is to make you guys laugh. And so when I was just an auditioning actress, I was sort of held back and I didn't have control over whether or not I booked the job. So through people telling me you should do this, Steven and others, pushing me to create my own content, just one day I said, yeah, you're right. I'm going to shoot my own sketches and post them online and make people laugh myself. I can control that. And so really, I think it's my purpose. And I did it out of creative frustration because I wasn't getting the roles that I wanted as consistently as I wanted them. So that's why I did that. Potato, the cannibal says, are you a potato? Yes.
I am. He definitely
He's a baked potato. Oliver, our pug, is a baked potato.
It's the same colour as a baked potato. Baked potato, 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 baked potato,
Big Bill says, was it easy to quit drinking? Finding it tough. Big Bill 31 says. So yeah, it was hard at first. I relapsed a lot at the beginning, but then it got bad enough to where I really had the willingness. And once you really want to be sober, there really is a solution. So if you have that willingness, I feel like willingness is, would you say, like one of the most important things?
It's the most important thing.
Yeah, because you could know you need to get sober. Your life could be shitty and you could feel like shit. But if you don't have that willingness, if you don't want to, fucking forget about it. You're not going to do it. It is not, the program we're in is not a program for people who need it. It's a program for people who want it. That's it. So once you have that willingness, know that there's a solution. There are steps you can take.
The requirement for membership to the support group that we're in is a desire to stop drinking.
Just a desire. So it's free. It's amazing.
You can find it. Just look.
And you can, and it's definitely, we can't do this alone, Bill. So doing it alone is nearly impossible. So my suggestion is to find someone who's sober and ask them for help, and they'll direct you. That's what I did. I walked in, and when I was finally ready, I said to this chick, I said, yeah, I relapsed again. She goes, if you don't take this seriously, you're going to die. She goes, I just buried a 23-year-old who died in her bathtub. She was a beautiful, blonde, funny 23-year-old, died in her bathtub last week and just came from her funeral. She goes, you're not too young. You're not invincible. This is a fatally progressive disease. And if you don't take this seriously and do this as if your life depends on it, you're going to die. And I was like, good morning to you too.
It's true though.
Yeah. So that for me was what I needed to hear. Because I had all these justifications. Oh, I'm 23 or whatever. I don't need to get sober now. All my friends are getting wasted. I justified it. But she kind of gave me the harsh reality, and it hit me. And then I went up to her. I said, will you sponsor me? She took me through the 12 steps. And 6 years later, here I am.
Here I am.
Do you know the Muffin Man? No Taco Bell for you asks. That's just funny. You're fucking funny. Our fans are really funny.
I know, they have some funny ideas. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, do you want your own child? You're so good with kids.
Yes!
Mama Grimm 33 asks.
That's your mum wrote that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I get nervous because I work, but yeah, we do. We want kids. And we're going to try later this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got
our kids will be all eyes and feet. They'll just be giant eyes and giant feet. We both have big feet and huge eyes. They're just going to be like, beep, 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 beep.
Hopefully they don't talk like that.
Beep, beep.
They probably will.
Beep.
They probably will.
Beep, beep.
They're going to talk like that.
Yeah, that's all they're going to say. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep. But anyway, guys, this was super fun.
Super fun.
And until next time, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast and
rate it.
And comment.
And leave a review. All these things are good.
Leave a review, comment, subscribe. That would really help me out, you guys. Gives us motivation to keep going, knowing that you guys are listening. I'm also just curious, like anything that, you guys want more character segments, or I'm just interested in what's working for you, and just leave that in the comments.
Let us know.
I'd love to hear it more. Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right. And also you can tweet me any questions you want to know and just hashtag Laura Clery podcast. And that way I can look at them and answer them next week, or anything you want to know from Steven. Just let us know. All right. Love you guys. And thanks for listening. Until next time.